right, we're here with Andrew McNeil, who is in charge of the sports track for South by Southwest Interactive. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right.
All right, so tell me a little bit about what you do for South by Southwest.
I help out with a lot of different things. My main responsibility is interactive sports competition, and in that I kind of facilitate the competition and deal with entrants and help produce the actual ceremony that goes on during the interactive festival. I also help out with a lot of panel programming stuff, and I curate and assign stories for the interactive stories for our magazine and South by Southwest as well. So those are my three kind of main duties, and then it's a small enough company that everyone pitches in wherever they can, that sort of thing.
Yes, this is probably a really busy time of year,
Definitely.
right, before the festival. Okay, so kind of tell me about the progression of the sports track at South by Southwest.
We've had some sports panels the last few years. There's a kind of a small subset of the interactive community. I think that's, you find geeks in every little area of the world, and there's definitely some sports geeks out there. And so we've had some sports panels the last few years, and I think this year I came to Hugh Forrest, our director, and he told him that I wanted to create like kind of a small track and really bring that out and have more of that programming involved. And he let me run with it. So I reached out to some people that I knew to see if they had ideas and encouraged them to submit to the panel picker. And then there was, some other sessions that were submitted independently, and then I reached out to a few other people later to see if they were interested in speaking. And so I think we're going to have a really good track of sessions on not just sports media is kind of my background and where I meet a lot of people, but there's also some other areas in the sports world that are going to be represented in the sports track that I'm pretty excited about.
Okay, and was it pretty easy to kind of get panels to be submitted to get the word out to like the sports media professionals?
Yeah, I think because so much happens in interactive that it's kind of an easy sell for a lot of people. There's a lot of other conferences that sports media people speak at, but they're generally just sports media conferences, and so you kind of know what you're going to get there. But with interactive, I think there's enough going on and there's enough topics out there that I think some people are more interested to speak there because they can get more out of being there. It's easier to justify to their bosses to pay for the travel and that sort of thing. So I didn't have a whole lot of problem getting people involved.
Awesome. And I see there's some big names. Greg Jennings is on a panel, Rachel Nichols from ESPN. So how excited were you to see that?
It was pretty exciting. I mean, I knew there was going to be some good names. I thought from the sports media world, I thought there was going to be the bigger names. And then I think it was probably 3 weeks ago that I found out that Greg Jennings was going to be here, which is pretty cool. I think that's our first Super Bowl winner to be here. And R.C. Buford, the Spurs general manager, is going to be speaking too. And there might be one or two names that come up, but it's a pretty good, I don't want to say star-studded, but there's some definite clout there in the first year that we're really putting emphasis on this.
Awesome. And kind of tell me, what are some of the panels that you're excited about? Is there any that really stand out in the sports track?
Yeah, well, me being involved in sports media, I'm excited about the Kevin Arnovitz panel that is sports media. The beat goes gone because it's got Kevin who was with the Heat Index and ESPN.com, and it's got Johnny Levin, who's the NBA editor at Yahoo Sports, and Jonathan Abrams, who writes for Grantland, which is ESPN's new Bill Simmons site. So it's got some heavy hitters in there, and Kathleen Hessert, who's just, she knows her stuff. And I like the idea that, because I've talked with Kevin about this and where he wants to go with it, and so it's a lot about what the beat writer is going to look like and what their job is going to be down the line. And it's also being paired, I believe it's coming right after Spencer Hall, who's a college football blogger for Everyday Show this Saturday. It's coming right after his session, Online Sports and Internet's Meeting Machine, where he talks about things, sports media things, but from more of a blogger, fan perspective, where there's a lot about memes and the jokes, the fun that goes along with sports media that you don't get quite as much from actual game coverage and that sort of thing. So those are two I'm really excited about. The R.C. Buford one about sports and doing social good is important. Yago Kolas, who's a professor at the University of Michigan, who's doing something like Cultures of Basketball Classic. He teaches at the University of Michigan about basketball and just cultures of it, which I think is fascinating. Those are just a couple off the top of my head that I'm really excited about. But as a whole, I think it's going to be great. I mean, the Craig Jennings thing, fantasy sports I think it's a great first year session for having a sports track get interactive with fantasy sports.
Yeah.
There's some good ones.
So big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a preview of the Beat Goes Gone, so I talked to Kevin
Oh, did you?
and Jonathan Abrams,
Oh,
and
okay.
so
Yeah.
so I'm going to that one for sure.
They're good dudes. I'm happy to have them.
And what do you see about the future of the sports track as far as its growth?
I don't know for sure. I haven't had a chance to really think about it. Ideally, if it goes well, which I'm obviously expecting it to go well, I'd like to expand on it and get maybe some more different topics. We don't have as much with sports analytics this year. I think we have one session from someone from Manchester City Football Club in England about it's called Datatainment, Soccer Sexism Spreadsheets, and that's really the one session that we have that actually deals with analytics and all the data that's involved in sports statistics. So ideally, we want to flesh that out a little more next year and continue with the sports media conversation. And I'd like something with sports business too. We didn't have anything with like the startup culture in sports and that sort of thing, and really just the tech side outside of sports media that I think is huge. And I'd like to get more of that for next year. So I mean, I've got some ideas for topics, and I'd like to see it grow a little bit. Not too much, obviously, but I'd like to see it grow some.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. All right, see you at South by Southwest.
All right, I'll be there.